Without further ado, let us say hello to David Feldman, who is joining us. I'm assuming still on cloud nine after what transpired in Broomfield, Colorado. I gave it a 12 out of 10, David. GC gave it an 8 out of 10. I don't remember what Eric said. Could you even possibly tell me, like, how would you grade Saturday night for you? 4.5 years or so in business here to see everything that went down with the cherry on top that is Conor McGregor in your ring. How would you possibly grade that?
Really, Ariel, it's just unbelievable. It was the best moment of my professional career. I was so happy for my team because, the team is so overworked and they've invested so much into this thing. And to see the difference in the smile of their faces that night it was really incredible for me to see because, they're like, at the end of the night, they're always drained. They were like, this is unbelievable. Like the best thing that ever happened for us, really. Everything came together. We had great fights. Bringing in these big names that are former UFC guys, sometimes you wonder, are they going to let it all hang out? And, Chad Mendez, Eddie Alvarez, like one of the best fights I've ever witnessed live ever in my life.
Yeah.
And you're right, to have that cherry on top was a beautiful ending to that historic night for us.
Incredible night with or without Conor, but the Conor thing put it over, made it viral, all that stuff. Can I ask you about that? Like, how does that happen? How does, just to be 1,000% blunt, because it was discussed, people asked me, did you guys pay for Conor to be there? How did it all go down?
Absolutely not. We don't pay for anyone to be there. We won't. We will never do that. That's not our thing. Look, I mean, of course, Chael Sonnen worked for us. He
well,
got
that's
paid.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We'll never, ever do that. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to grow this thing organically, and we're in a whole different place now. That was as we're doing this growth, I always say, this event could turn the corner, or that's a turning point for us. I mean, it certainly turned for us. We bet everything on this event. We went big, and sometimes they say go big or go home, and luckily we didn't have to go home. We went big, and it moved us up a couple notches, I believe. Never arrogant, as you know me. I'm not at all, but I think that we really parked into the number 2 spot in combat sports right now.
Okay, so the Conor thing, how does it happen? He tells you, I'm just in the area. I want to stop by.
Yeah, man. We got we were actually going to use his security before for a few things, and we were just going back and forth with them. And he said, I think Conor wants to come to the event. And my guy Dave Cranston hit me up, and he said, Conor McGregor wants to come. And I said, great, man. Let's get him. He said, I'm not 100% sure yet. And we really didn't know until right before the event started that he was definitely coming. And then he flew out from LA and flew into Broomfield. We picked him up, and he made an epic appearance. But I mean, forget that he came, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. He got into a ring and accepted a challenge that's probably never going to happen. Let's be honest. He's under contract with UFC, but you never know what happens, right? But to accept a challenge to Mike Perry and say how much he loves this sport, and it's a great sport, and I have to try this, and yeah, let's do this, and put on one of our BKFC belts was unbelievable. I mean, it's something that people would pay millions of dollars for, that kind of notoriety, and it happened for free for us.
Where did you get the belt from?
Actually, Lorenzo Hunt was in the audience. He's my he's our double champ right now, 185 and 205, but he's given up one of those. But he had it, and he took it from him, or Lorenzo handed it to him. He got in the ring, and one of the statements he said, man, I didn't even fight for this promotion yet, and I already have their belt. So that was pretty cool too. It was awesome. Look, man, we worked so hard, as talking to you a few times before. We worked so hard, man. Like nothing was gifted to us. We climbed every bit of the way that we got here, and I'm not saying we're at the top yet. We're far from the top, but everybody, and I mean everybody in combat sports, was talking about us this week.
No, it's 100%. You own the weekend. Happened. Yeah, that's 100% fact. One last thing on the Conor thing. Did you know Perry was going to do that, or was that just spontaneous? Like, I'm sure you would have been happy with just him in the crowd, but did you know Perry was going to call him into the ring?
Well, actually, Cowboy was there too, and he said, I'd like to get my get backs to Cowboy. I'm going to call him out. I said, whatever you want to do, man. I had no idea, and I didn't think, even if he did, I didn't think that Conor would jump in the ring, and that was an amazing moment for us. It was awesome, and obviously, we'll never interfere with what he's doing with the UFC, obviously, but it was awesome. And a couple of my guys on my team hung with him afterwards, and he said this is what fighting's supposed to be. He said, this is the best thing I've ever seen in fighting.
Do you think the UFC was mad about that?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if one of my guys went over there and said, "This is the best thing I've ever seen," and
Or just him being there? Like, do you think they were mad about him being there?
I don't know if he was mad. I, I have no idea, man.
Yeah.
Really, I
Did you
wouldn't
hear
be
from
mad.
them?
No.
Nothing. Okay. And Connor gets to play by a different set of rules.
He might, but he was with my guy saying, I'm going to get a phone call any minute now. I'm
Uh,
just waiting for that phone call."
well, he certainly put you guys over, and then did so after the fact as well, which was huge on social media. You mentioned Cowboy, by the way. I know there was some talk of maybe Cowboy fighting on this one. Are you guys in talks with him?
We'll probably start talking to him, but I don't really know what he wants to do. He enjoyed it. He was awesome, man. He's a class guy. Every time we see him, really good dude. Just came out, enjoyed it. We haven't talked, after that at all. So we'll see if those talks elevate. But man, it was an awesome. Yesterday was hard because I wanted to go to sleep. I'm like, I want to sleep, and all I kept thinking about was, man, is this really happening to us? Like, we really just went from here to here,
Yeah.
like overnight. They say it, and I'm not saying that we're, again, the biggest thing in the world, but an overnight success, um, 12 years in the making, and it happened to us overnight on Saturday night, which was phenomenal for us, phenomenal for my team, phenomenal for the athletes that fight for me, because get this kind of notoriety, it brings bigger sponsors in. It's going to bring a TV deal in very, very soon, and they're going to be able to make more money. I'm really, truly am. I don't blow smoke. I'm all about the fighters, all about the team.
Can you tell me more about this TV deal? What are we talking about here?
I mean, I've got two on the table right now that we're going down the road on these. I can't mention who they are just because
Sure.
we're negotiating, but I think we're going to get a mainstream TV deal here
Wow.
within the next 2 months.
And
Should
what
be
would that
signed soon.
mean? Would that mean no more pay-per-view or just select events on pay-per-view? What would it look like?
So I don't want to do pay-per-view. We have no other option right now. Like, I don't want to charge people for this. We have no other option. We have to fund the company, and we can only fund the company by
Right.
charging for the event, because we're not getting a rights fee.
Got it.
Now, do a TV deal and get a rights fee, or do a TV deal and don't get a real big rights fee, but be able to get big time sponsors on board. It changes the whole entire trajectory of this whole thing.
Oh, that'd be
And
huge.
really, that's the goal for us, and it's going to happen. It's
And
it's 100% going to happen, and it's not. Before it was, 2 years ago, it was a dream, and it's really going to happen. Like, I literally watched my dream of BKFC unfold in front of the whole entire world on Saturday night. It was the best feeling I've ever had in my life.
linear deal or streaming deal?
Linear.
Wow. Okay, this is huge. And so, like in the future, your preference would be a big event like this is prime time on TV for everyone to see, and you can get money off the TV deal, but also sponsors and things like that. So you would move away from the pay per view model, probably because I feel like an event like yours. Correct me if this is inaccurate. For whatever reason, it's so easy to pirate now that people are just doing that, right? I saw you mention that in the post fight presser, like, well, what if we got 80,000, whatever, but who knows how many actually were watching? That's the crappy part, right? You can't really tell what you're getting.
We shut down 42 streaming sites on
Mm,
Saturday night. 42, and how many more were out there? How many
yeah,
people stream? But at the end of the day, it's like a double-edged sword for us. I don't ever want to endorse pirating ever, but they're watching us, right?
yeah.
Like, now, more and more and more people are watching us. Now, in a year from now, we're not going to want that. But right now, we'll take it. It's not what we want. We want them to pay for it, but they're not all going to pay for it now. And we had millions of eyeballs on us on Saturday night. It was just a phenomenal, phenomenal thing for us.
You mentioned in the post fight press conference, you bet the house on this event, and I think you mentioned to your partner, your wife, your girlfriend, we get to keep our house. And someone told me that in the fighter meeting on Friday, like that wasn't just a joke. You actually said you refinanced your house for this event. Is that true?
Listen, leading up to it, I did some things that I had to do to get the funds to be able to do what I needed to do for this event. I had a fighter meeting. It was the most real emotional fighter meeting I've ever had. And it's so funny, man. Every single fighter came up to me, every single one, and they were like, "Man, you're the guy I want to fight for." I mean, from the top to the bottom, every single one of them. They said, you're the kind of guy I want to fight for. You're real. Like, if you're going to bet your house on this and your life on this, I'm betting with you. I mean, we don't have crazy money. We're going to get this funding thing situated. We're going to, Triller's about to go public, and we're going to have a lot of money to blow this thing up with them. They've been a great partner so far, but we also had to do some things on our own, and just a phenomenal feeling to be able to, put everything in your life into this, the biggest moment of our life, and you want it to shine, and it shined, and it was just amazing. And really, my team couldn't have done any better. Like, my son David, just a lot of people don't know, he's the executive producer of the show. I got Jonathan Evans, who's a director, was with HBO Boxing for years, and I think our production is, really up there with anything else out there. It was just a great night for everything. Our whole team really came together on this. Our marketing team, like, everything that could possibly have happened right Saturday night happened for us.
Yeah, this is like Vince McMahon in WrestleMania 1. I think he did something like that. This was like your WrestleMania 1 moment. I know it wasn't your first, but like this felt like a really big deal. By the way, we were mentioning before you came on, kudos to you, your son, your production team. The pacing was fantastic. Like Mendez and Alvarez ends. You don't go to the desk. You don't go to a package. We went right to the main event. For an old guy like me who gets tired around midnight, it was amazing. Please keep that up, because I thought it was just like boom, 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 boom. You just gave. What drives me nuts is about some of these shows, it's like, you already got me. I bought the show. I'm sitting there. You don't need to sell me on these fights anymore. You already got me. That's what this past week was for. I don't need the fifth package of the night on whatever fight this is. So kudos to you, your son, and everyone involved on that. Mike Perry has found a home with you guys. He, in my opinion, is the face of bare knuckle. He's 3-0 now. And he just, I mean, like what he did on this show last week with Luke was fantastic. Like, just the way he sells it is great. He did mention, though, this is the last fight on his deal, this past one. So how confident are you that you're going to be able to keep him around?
100%. I mean, we know what he's worth. We know his value. We're working on other projects together. Look, we paid him, I don't know, 60% more than his contract so far. So we've already outpaid him what we were supposed to pay him, and he's out delivered for us too. So it's a great partnership. Right when both people are doing more than they're supposed to do, it's a great partnership. A lot of people don't know Mike Perry. They see him. Sometimes he talks a little slow. He's a smart, intelligent dude, man. He gets it. He's a family guy, and he looks sensational. Like, he was just ripping shot. Took a big shot by Luke Rockhold, got rocked, came right back like it didn't even affect him. Just unbelievable guy. We will get that deal done. We'll get that deal done.
Okay. Was that a one-fight deal with Luke?
A one-fight deal with Luke, with an option, but I don't think he's going to exercise his option.
Why not?
I mean, he said, in his post-fight, it was a bucket list thing.
Yeah.
I did it on my list. Bare knuckle is real. It's not for everybody, and it's not for everybody. Look, it's not for every fan. It's not for every fighter. But for the fighters, it's for them, man. And for the fans, it's for Ariel, man. My Instagram, the DMs I got from top fighters around the world. I'm not going to mention their names. I don't want to get them in trouble. I mean, unbelievable. Like, you wouldn't even believe who messaged me after that event. They all want to fight right now. They all want to BKFC. I'm not saying they want to leave everywhere else. They all want to give it a shot. They want to give it a shot and see what it's about. It's exciting, man. It's fast paced. It's awesome.
Another big thing that you guys are doing that other promotions aren't doing, which I've said on this show they should do, the one fight deal. Come over here. Let's see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, we'll go our separate ways. But you make one big fight, and everyone's happy, everyone wins. You don't need to lock someone down for a 4-fight deal. I love that you're doing these 1-fight deals. Is it the same with Eddie Alvarez? Was that a 1-fight deal?
1 fight with options, yes.
You think he sticks around?
I do. He's a Philly guy, man, and we got talking afterwards. I mean, he loved it. It was great, man. He loved it. There's not many guys that come in here and really don't like the experience with us. Because we treat them like human beings. We treat them real, man. I've been there before, been punched in my face. I know what it takes when they get punched in their face. I know the weight cut. I know the whole thing. I get it. And me being able to get it and understand what they're going through, I think I get a different bond with these guys. And it's been an amazing experience with all these guys. Also, just if you don't mind, I have to give a shout out to my matchmaker, man. He put on unbelievable matches. Nate Shook. He put on some really, really great matches this time. I think this was his best show ever.
Shout out to him as well. By the way, where do things stand with Triller? Because I remember when you came on and said that they were buying you guys, but my understanding is that deal hasn't quite gone through. So like you're still, I think they're helping with funding, but they're not the complete owners of BKFC. Is that accurate?
No, it's done. I mean, they did their deal, so we're just all collectively waiting for this big pop to come in so we can really make some big moves, which is about to happen. But no, we're it's BKFC by Triller now.
Okay, all right. Last week you were on Sirius XM and you teased a big signing that is gonna like blow everyone away. I saw them tweet about it. Do you know what I'm talking about? You were on one of their shows. What was the show? Here it is. We have the tweet over here. You said, "quote: I have an unbelievable announcement to make at that event," which I think you were talking about the Saturday event for a new
All right.
big signing that's probably going to fight the winner of Perry Rockhold. And you said this to the great Jimmy Smith. Did I miss the announcement? What happened?
The talks didn't break down, but they took a step back, so I couldn't. Man,
Perfect. You can
you
make
know,
the announcement here. This is great.
I don't have it yet, man. If you want to bring me, I'll come back on when I have the deal done and we can make it. Absolutely.
How
I
big is
don't.
this?
It's a good one. It's a big one. It's a big name. It's another
Okay.
big name. It's another one that's going to get people going, wow, and talking about it. You know, where I don't want to do all big fights all the time because you can't. I mean, it doesn't make sense financially. But to do these big fights, and I'll be honest, my whole team was like, know, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing here, man? Like, this is, you're putting the whole company at risk. I said, I know what I'm doing this time. I really got it. I understand all the eyeballs, and it fell. And when I announced the event on April 29th, I was like, this is unbelievable. There's nothing else going on. And then they announced Tyson Fury fighting. And I
Ah,
was like, oh no, what just happened? And then that fight got pushed back. And I was like, man, we own this night
yeah.
with this kind of card, with these kind of names, and it all just worked out.
The natural fight that I think everyone wants to see for Perry is him versus Darren Till. Have you talked to Darren?
We talked to him a while ago, but then he was talking about fighting Logan Paul. But we're certainly going to revisit Darren Till right now. I think I think he has a good style for this sport.
Is that announcement Darren Till the one that you hinted? Someone
No,
else.
it wasn't Darren Till. No,
Okay.
yes,
Uh, I think you would agree. Very positive, Chad. Here, dare I say, blowing some smoke. Can I push back on one thing? Can I push back on the Francis thing? I didn't necessarily agree with your take that he's kind of messing things up. Why do you think he's messing things up? You said that at a press conference recently that he's not really. I'm paraphrasing here, so correct me if I'm not saying this correctly. But like you seem to think that he wasn't handling this the right way. Francis Ngannou, of course. Can you explain?
Well, I'm just saying, like, here's the thing. I mean, did you see that one just pulled out of
Yes,
their final
but
negotiation?
there's more to that story.
I, I'm not going with him. I'm
okay,
just saying I just saw that. What happened with our talks is we knew what he was making, and I don't even know if he's still with the same guy now, but we talked to his agent that was with
Markel.
CAA.
Yeah, Markel. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still with him.
Okay, so we just made a significant an offer that was well above anything, and what he wanted was well above that. And I get it. I understand, but I don't think he's going to make that if he fights a super fight. I don't think that like Francis Ngannou fighting in another organization against not a top tier name is going to be worth 20 million. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe it is, but I'm not saying he's not worth that. I'm saying for me he wasn't worth that because
Got it.
I have to bring it back. I'm in a position that if I make a wrong move on 20 million, my company's over.
Sure, of
Right?
course. No.
But these other companies, they can take a risk on 20 million. I can't. So for me, it wasn't worth it for us.
Was that what he was asking for?
Not 20, but I mean, high numbers, real
Got it.
high numbers. I heard from other people that, he was talking in that range. But I mean, look, he put a lot into this, in the combat sports, and, he made his decision to step away from the UFC and try to do things, and do different things for fighters, which I really respect that. But at the end of the day is, soon, I'm not saying just with Francis, but with all these guys, like, if you wait too long, you're
Sure.
hot, right? You're hot. You got to strike when you're hot. And then when people aren't talking about you anymore, or not talking as much about you anymore, it can affect you. Like when COVID hit, nobody was talking about us. So I said, we got to do a show. And nobody wanted to do a show. And I said, no, we're doing a show because nobody's talking about us. And if this thing lasts for another year, nobody's going to talk about us and we're out of business.
Right.
So he did something. And that's all I'm really saying. I'm not saying what he's worth. Just to me, he wasn't worth that.
Is there a case to be made, maybe one a quarter where obviously the purses for this one was probably a lot more than your typical event, but you do one of these massive events for now. Like, is this a model that you're going to try to replicate? Given the success of Saturday, has this kind of changed the way you're going to do things? Like one big show every whatever, and then some smaller shows?
Certainly. We're looking to do 4 a year like this right now.
Love it.
And could do a little bit more. I mean, it just depends on the star power that comes over because, I think it really opened the door for us on Saturday night. I think, the fighters, especially Eddie and Chad, talked how good the company treats them. Mike Perry talks really, really great about us. And I think that's going to encourage fighters to come over here. Plus, look, you're fighting for 10 minutes. You're not fighting for 15 or 25 minutes, and you're getting paid comparable or more money.
Right. Did you enjoy working with Luke?
Yeah. Luke was cool to work with. At the end, we had a little hiccup about his rehydration. But other than that, I mean, look, he talked great about the company. He talked great about, the freedom. He talked great about everything. So it was a good experience with Luke.
Was there a rehydration clause?
There was.
For Luke? Well, what was it?
It was 10%.
10%. And he didn't like that?
Oh, well, it's not that he didn't like it. Our team probably didn't communicate properly to him. He thought everybody had a rehydration clause, which is wide, and it was really just set for that fight. So just a little miscommunication, but we fixed it, and he made it work. We made it work, and he went out there and fought his ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, he came out to fight his ass off, but he got his teeth cracked, so he chose not to continue, and I respected that decision.
Great little nugget there from you, and not great, but like it's fascinating after what happened on Saturday and how I was looking at you, especially with the Conor part. I was like, man, I can't even imagine what David is thinking right now. Like you're probably thinking that this is some sort of fever dream. How close were you to actually shutting down during COVID? Like to think about that, to here we are 3 years later, and what Saturday meant for you. But like just to go back to that thing you just said, how close was it to actually coming to an end because of everything shutting down?
It wasn't like it was going to happen in the next couple of weeks or months, but it was that nobody was talking, right? And talking, then my, guys I was getting a little bit of money off of, they were getting disinterested because nobody was talking. Look, the reason why this thing was able to keep floating is everybody keeps talking about it.
Right.
So then everybody keeps talking about there's interest. There's never been this much interest in it ever. Like this is unbelievable after Saturday night. But I'm not saying we were close like any day, but if that thing would have lasted, if we didn't do an event for another 6 or 9 months, we could have had a hard time.
When's your next big one?
We're targeting August 11th, I believe is the date.
And who would be the main event for that?
You're a great investigative reporter.
TBD.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations on an amazing night. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a ton of fun. As you could see, it's pretty much the BKFC hour on the program today. So, that's a reflection.
And really, really, thank you, man. Thank you for the platform. You've always been good to us. You've always been good to my fighters. I really appreciate it, Ariel. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Congrats. Enjoy it. And looking forward to the next big one from you guys.
Take care.
All right, there he is, David Feldman. Huge night for him. Still on cloud nine.